Wait, that's happened? They executed a pig for murder? History is full of strange but true stories that sound like satire written centuries too early, and few are more unsettling or revealing than the day a pig was put on trial for murder. This is not a metaphor. In 1386, in the French town of Falaise, a sow was formally arrested, imprisoned, tried in a court of law, dressed in human clothing, and executed for killing a child. It sounds absurd to modern ears, but to the people who witnessed it, this was justice being carried out exactly as it should be. The case began when a toddler was found brutally injured, his face and arms torn apart. Witnesses testified that the attacker was a domestic pig belonging to a local farmer. Pigs at the time roamed freely through medieval towns, rooting through garbage, alleyways, and courtyards. They were valuable livestock, but also dangerous animals with powerful jaws. When the child later died from his wounds, authorities acted as they would have if the killer had been human. The pig was seized and locked in a jail cell, awaiting trial. What followed was a legal process that mirrored human criminal proceedings in every detail. The pig was assigned a date in court. Witnesses were called. Evidence was presented. The animal was formally charged with murder. The judge presiding over the case treated the sow not as property, but as a moral agent capable of committing a crime. This was not symbolic theater. It was the law. Medieval Europe believed that animals, like people, were part of a moral universe governed by God. If an animal violated that order, it could and should be held accountable. The verdict was guilty. The sentence was death by public execution, meant not just to punish, but to restore moral balance. On the day of the execution, the pig was dressed in human clothes, including a jacket and trousers, to visually reinforce the idea that it was being punished as a criminal, not slaughtered as livestock. It was then led through the town and executed before a crowd. The message was clear and unmistakable. Violence would not go unanswered, no matter who or what committed it. To modern viewers, the trial feels grotesque and irrational. How could anyone believe an animal understood guilt or innocence? But medieval justice was not about psychology or intent in the modern sense. It was about order. The law existed to reflect divine harmony, and when that harmony was broken, punishment restored it. Executing the pig reassured the community that the world still made sense, that chaos had been contained. Pig trials were not unique. Across medieval Europe, animals were prosecuted for crimes ranging from murder to crop destruction. Rats were summoned to court for eating grain. Insects were excommunicated for ruining vineyards. Some animals were acquitted, others were executed. These trials followed legal procedures because the ritual itself mattered. Justice was something you performed publicly, visibly, so that fear and doubt could be driven out of the community. The 1386 pig trial also served a practical purpose. It shifted blame away from human negligence. Free-roaming pigs were common, and children were vulnerable. By placing guilt entirely on the animal, the community avoided confronting uncomfortable questions about safety, supervision, or responsibility. The pig became a vessel for collective anxiety, absorbing the horror so society could move on. Today, the idea of putting an animal on trial seems laughable, even barbaric, yet it forces an uncomfortable reflection. Medieval people were not stupid or naive. They were operating within a worldview where law, morality, and the natural world were deeply intertwined. Justice was not just about preventing future harm. It was about proving that order still ruled the universe. The pig of Falaise left no testimony, no confession, no explanation, but its trial tells us something profound about the humans who judged it. When faced with tragedy, people will build meaning wherever they can find it, even if that meaning takes the shape of a courtroom and a condemned animal in borrowed clothes. The pig was executed, the town returned to normal, and history quietly recorded one of the strangest court cases ever held. Not as a joke, but as a sincere attempt to make sense of a world where tragedy demanded an answer, even when none truly existed. If you enjoyed this strange piece of history, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more.